Hi everyone, Nars recently released a pro line of brushes with black handles and undyed goat hair. The photos I saw before they were released looked really bad. The hairs were yellow, which is generally an indicator for lower quality hair, for goat at least. I was very skeptical and wasn't planning on purchasing any. Also, the prices are up there in the Tom Ford range. A friend happened to be curious about them and bought one on the website. She kept raving about it, so I eventually bit the bullet and ordered the small brightener on the left right here, which is similar to the Hakuhodo J5521. The handles are long and heavy like the Tom Ford brushes, and the weight correlates to the size of the brush. So the blush brush on the right is heavier than the highlight brush on the left, and the highlight brush on the left is called the small brightener. It's $55 US. It's got a candlestick shape, which is similar to the Hakuhodo J5521, which is $38. And it's dense and elastic, just like the J5521, but a tad smaller. Let me see if I can show you. Nars is on the right. It does turn into an oval fluffy ball shape after washing, but if you put a brush guard on it afterwards, it'll reshape nicely. So you can see that I think the Nars has more of a well-rounded taper and keeps its shape better than the J5521 on the left. So it's astonishingly soft. I did get a great batch of hairs and I feel really lucky. The softness and silkiness are comparable to Hakuhodo Saikoho and Takeda EXS hairs, with the Nars being a little less soft than Takeda EXS hairs. And if your skin is too sensitive for Hakuhodo Saikoho, then I would say skip all the Nars brushes, because the highlight brush can feel a tiny bit prickly on the top of my cheekbones. And the hair tips are very fine and almost translucent. It's really hard to film white bristles, but yeah, I don't think you can tell in this lighting. It does pick up a good amount of product, a little less than the J5521. It works well with all powder types, ranging from soft to hard pressed. And I would advise using it with a very firmly pressed product at a 90-degree angle, as it can eventually break the tips like I did with my J5521. So I used to use the Hakuhodo J5521 on the left with my Anastasia So Hollywood illuminator, which is my favorite illuminator of all time. It's great for warm-toned people. Like if you are very warm just like me, then I think you'll really like this highlighter. But I would take the brush and I would just go into it at a 90-degree angle to get product and apply it to my face. And I did that so much that I think I eventually just broke the hair tips, because this brush is prickly on my face now. Yeah, so I would actually recommend using it, or using any shapes like these, at a 45-degree angle and taking the product from the side instead of the top of the head. So the side like this, and then applying it. I mean, you can apply it straight too, but you just don't want to dip into a very firmly pressed product like head on, if that makes sense. So back to the Nars. It is more targeted since it's smaller, but it can still get into the cheek area. It applies and blends without any issues, and I love this brush and highly recommend it. So next up is the Intensifier on the left, or the right, sorry. So the Intensifier is the blush brush that they have. And I did like the small brightener so much that I decided to purchase the blush brush, which is $85. The handle is quite heavier, and it's heavier than the Tom Ford cheek and also longer. It's extremely densely packed just like the Tom Ford cheek. And it's an oval shape. They're very similar, but the Tom Ford cheek is fluffier. And it's not as soft as the Tom Ford, and the hairs are longer than the Tom Ford, so you can tell that they're longer and it's less soft. I think the batch of hairs aren't as soft as my small brightener. It's prickly if I use it on the face side, so if I use it just like from this side, then it's prickly, and also if I pat onto my cheeks. If I go like this, it's prickly for me, but it's probably very soft for most people. If you don't have sensitive skin, then it's soft enough, right? And there's less friction when sweeping it across the face, like this. I did try it for other things because I wanted to test it out to the best of its ability, and I used it for loose setting powder. It does apply loose setting powder really well. It also applies Milani blushes well, but for Tarte blushes, it applied patchy. I did try it with a Laudre pressed blush, and it applied nicely as well, but with the Laudre one, I used it in a patting motion and it ended up being prickly. So here's a Laudre blush, and Laudre is, the pressed blush is medium to firm pressed, and I had to dip into it numerous times to get color to show up. I think I dipped into it maybe 8 to 10 times. I don't care much for it for blush. Bronzer wise, it does apply the Tom Ford bronzer very nicely. It rivals the Hakuhodo J531 application, but I do have to use it on the side instead of the face to apply bronzer, so I go like this instead of this for bronzer, if that makes sense. For Benefit's Hoola, it does apply more sheared out, and I have to be careful with the placement or it can go too low on my face. So I do like it for blush, but I'm not completely in love. I'd say pass for those of you with extremely sensitive skin. And if you don't have sensitive skin, then try it out if you're interested. So my favorite is the small brightener, and I do kind of want to try out another brush, but I'm still undecided, maybe not. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.